Okay, so welcome everybody to our inauguration call of the Aram Learning Festival. So happy to have you all here, and it's probably a call with the most number of participants that I've been in a long time. Yeah, so it already feels like a full house in a sense. So thank you. Very glad all of you are able to make it from different parts of the country, and I don't know if we have anybody from outside of India, but I can see friends from across the country, so very glad. All the way from Ashish in his, heavily protected from the cold, to me with my t-shirt and shorts. So that's the kind of spectrum we have, in terms of the weather and whatnot. So very happy to have you all, and grateful as well for your time. Maybe I can just give a brief overview of what we are hoping to accomplish in the next 90 minutes, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. So I would just like to sort of give a brief overview of the Learning Festival and what's the thought process behind it a little bit. And yeah, and welcome everybody a bit more heartfeltly. And then we'll get into small groups and share our intentions for the Learning Festival, what brings us here and what are our intentions and aspirations. So that we will do in like breakout rooms. And I hope you all brought your objects. Yeah. If not the objects, you can still speak, from your heart and what your aspirations and intentions are for the space. Over the next 2 months, this is a learning festival that will be on for the next 9 weeks or so. So, and then when we come back into the main hall, we will briefly get introduced to all the facilitators and their offerings. Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit after that about the logistics of the process, because as you noticed, there's a lot of logistics involved. And so I'll speak a little bit about that. And then right at the end, we'll have some time for any questions, concerns, anything that needs to be addressed, queries. Then we'll have about 15 odd minutes for that. Yeah, hopefully 15 minutes. If we keep to our timings, it should be about 15 minutes. So that's the breakup of the 90 minutes. So again, thank you very much. Very, very humbled and grateful for all your time and presence. Maybe I can just, like I said, talk a little bit about, my name is Naveen, by the way, and I live in Auroville, and I, along with some friends here, steward what we're calling the Aram Center for Evolutionary Leadership. That's, in a sense, what we are working on together in co-creating. And we had done a pilot round of this learning festival a few months ago. And this is the first time we're sort of putting it out there a bit more publicly and inviting friends to join in from, earlier it was an invite-only event. This is the first time we opened it up for general signups. And very heartened to see so much support and response to this experiment, as I like to call it. Yeah. So this is an experiment. This learning festival is an experiment in building community through learning and shared questions, learning, and shared inquiry. That's, in a sense, can we build community around learning is, in a sense, the question we're playing with in this process. And like you notice, there are these 10 different explorations that we have sort of curated and offered for people to be a part of. And what we're seeing is none of us who are offering these explorations are necessarily experts in the topics that we're offering. While this is an inquiry that brings us alive, we are inspired to live with this question. And some of us have also had a long history of work, struggling and learning and staying with these questions. But the facilitators are not claiming to be experts, but students and fellow travelers inspired by these questions and these themes. Yeah. And while each of the facilitators will bring in a certain direction and a certain anchorage to the sessions, we've also invited everybody to keep it kind of half cooked in a sense, deliberately, so that it leaves space for collective learning, for the so-called participants also to come in and co-create the space, rather than it becoming like very top-down or very expert and student-driven model. Yeah. So this hopefully will be a lot more co-explorations rather than lectures and talks that are just monologues largely. We hope that's not the case. Yeah, but well, that said, the facilitators will have a significant role in anchoring the space, and they will bring in significant direction to the whole thing. But it hopefully will also open up a lot of opportunity for co-creation and learning together. Yeah. And so we'll experiment with how it goes. It turned out, I think, quite beautifully in the pilot round that we did. So, but this is a larger model with more people as a part of the process. So we'll see how this round of the experiment goes. Yeah. And that's largely it. The logistics of what it involves, of course, I'll share later. But in brief, this is, in a sense, the overview of what we're attempting. Can we build community around learning? Can we build community around shared questions and shared inquiry? And can we really create spaces of dialogue, not just verbal, but dialogue, where there can be a lot of co-learning that happens? Yeah. And can bonds be strengthened? Can community be built around such an exploration? And yeah, I mean, if there's anything my friends want to add, then please feel free to jump in. We tried to bring in themes from various parts of what I would like to call the engaged life. What I mean by engaged is something that includes both spirituality and showing up in the world with a certain kind of responsibility. Yeah. So the themes we've tried to curate are about both inner and outer transformation, or something that kind of connects both, or at least, or if not explicitly, at least underlines one of these two aspects. Yeah. And that's pretty much it for now. And my own intentions, personally speaking, in having put this together and being a part of this space, is if it can really deepen friendships, if it can really deepen connections, and if we can discover new friends and fellow travelers and fellow pilgrims in this process, then that would be paisa vasool for me already. Yeah. Anything more is a bonus. But if just friendships can deepen and new friends can be discovered, and or what more can I ask for? So that's really would be my wish list in this process. So I'll take a pause with that, and see if any of my friends and colleagues want to add anything briefly for now, and then we'll take the next step. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? People are messaging me privately saying you've grown more gray hair. Okay, thank you, but let's not distract me right now. I don't want to feel bad about age creeping in on me. So please save your commiserations for later. Yeah. Yes, Vasanti, please. Yeah.
Naveen,
Yeah.
I have lots of gray hair, so I think I'm very wise.
Okay,
Number
perfect.
1. Number 2, I liked your statement on half cooked and sharing questions and inquiries. Just delighted. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasanti. Personally, I'm a little fatigued by experts, yeah, and expert-driven spaces. So hopefully we will all be learners and not experts together. Yeah. So thank you, Vasanti. Yeah.
So are we just going to share poems and things, or are we going to, like, is there a process after which?
Yes. I was just going to come to that.
Okay.
So if there is no more inputs for now, I suggest we get into breakout rooms, rooms of 3. I'll make those rooms. Or Priya, are you good with breakout rooms? Are you like, so can you make groups of 3? Yeah. You can leave me out if you don't mind. And I'll join a group myself. Yeah, if you could just leave me out. So what we'll do in the breakouts is we'll have about, let's say 10 minutes for the breakout. And in those 10 minutes, all 3 people can share with each other what are their intentions and aspirations for this learning festival for themselves, like what are the intention aspirations with which they're coming into this space. What would they like to see? What would they like to experience? And unfortunately, we can't have a large circle with all the 40 odd of us sharing. That would have been ideal. I dream of that day too, one day where we can actually sit together in a room or in a hall or under the sky around a fire and share this. But today we'll have to make do with Zoom and breakout rooms. So all 3 can share in those 10 minutes. If you brought your objects, like I have brought my object, like if you brought your objects, then you can share using your object. Yeah, that symbolizes your intentions and your aspirations. And then we will come back to the main hall. So these 3 minutes are also for your poems and your songs, or your pictures. Some of you emailed me your pictures. So I hope you have a copy of it. It is to be shown and shared with your small group. Is that okay? And is 10 minutes sufficient for your songs, or maybe even dance performances for all you know? So is 10 minutes okay, or should we make it like 12 minutes or something? 10 is good enough? Okay, super. And we'll remind you here when it's closer to time. So our intentions and aspirations for the next 2 months around this learning festival. Yeah. Yes, Priya?
I mean, I just sort of clicked on you also, but I'm not able to figure out where now. So just
no problem.
take
So you stay back, then I go into the small room.
No, you just don't take the invite. That's it.
Oh, like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll be back here in about 10, 12 minutes, friends. Yeah. So see you all soon. I gave longer time than said, oh, the recording's back. Yeah, I hope all of you had a chance to at least briefly listen to each other. Yeah. Okay. We will also be having a course portal, like it's like an online platform. It's very easy to use and all that, that we will be opening in the next couple of days. So a lot more introductions and sharings can also happen over that platform. So if today was brief, we were just warming up. Yeah. So now maybe a good time to sort of bring in other friends who are anchoring this space, co-anchoring this space, and do a round of introductions. And my invitation to my friends, colleagues, is if we can sort of in about 3 odd minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, briefly introduce ourselves and the offerings, the offering that we're anchoring. Then we can hear from everybody, and then open it up for further sharings from there. Is that okay? And we can play the tagging. So one person introduces themselves and then they tag the next person. That way we're not waiting for too long. Is that okay? Cool. So over to you all. Yes, Girija, we can go over that. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't tag anyone, so I just took the advantage of that. Yeah, so heart is so full. I'm feeling so happy. Uh, Difficult to express in words. Let's just see everyone here and welcome to Aram Learning Festival. And my name is Girija, and I'll be facilitating the exploration titled Musical Presencing. And just a disclaimer that you do not need to be a music expert or a musician or a singer to be part of musical presencing. So I think some people had that question in mind, so just clarifying it up front. So, the intention of this offering is to bring or present to the participants a practice of connecting with one's own self, beyond the identity of a solid body. So it's very easy for us to identify with this frame and our features, our bodily structure, and I very easily I can say, yes, this is Girija. But when we touch ourselves through music, with a particular way of doing it, which I'll be talking about in the part of the process, in the part of the exploration, we'll be looking at how to expand awareness beyond material identity of one's own self. And so 2 or 3 things which might help participants is, one is, while in all of the Zoom calls, you're asked to switch on the video and look at each other and talk to each other. A large part of these sessions of musical presencing will be about switching off your video and listening to your participants without seeing them. Okay. And listening to what's coming your way without eyesight being your first anchor. Okay, so that's one thing that will shift in our calls. Of course, there'll be some time where you can switch it on, so you can enjoy those moments that you're connecting with yourself in absolute privacy. Right, so that's the intention, because when you begin to touch some parts of you through music, there is a possibility that strong emotions come up. And you might want the privacy as well. So just respecting that. The second aspect is I'll be walking through the process. So there are many ways to practice with music, and there is a process that's come to me. And to very briefly state it, that this was something that I discovered or developed, I would say, over the years as a solution to a genetic problem that I have, which medicine does not have a solution for. So when I was dealing with this problem of how do I speak and identify with myself beyond genetical identity of a disease, music was a huge anchor. And from that anchoring into the music, this practice has evolved. Okay. But like Naveen said, that I have only done it one-on-one till now. And with a small, like a one-on-one with one person, in person largely. And so when I'm throwing it out open to an online platform, trust me, I also don't know what's going to emerge in those sessions. And I'm totally looking forward to it. And one last thing which I would love to add, and which is very important for musical presencing, is I'm doing very little. I'm providing you the framework. Right? So when you step in, my humble request is to step in with the willingness to co-create. Because what energy you will step in with, your participants are going to receive it. Your co-participants are going to receive it. And believe me, when you will experience it, you will know it, that what you step in with, the energy is fully exchanged, especially when music is the medium. So that's a very humble request that please step in with with awareness that we are co-creating the energy of the space. And I'm totally looking forward to it. And if you have any queries, I'll be so happy to answer them. But I don't want to give out too much either. So, yeah, so welcome again. And see you all soon.
Beautiful. Thank you, Girija. Could you also nominate who will share next?
Yes. So, Hari, you're in the same room.
Yeah. Hori, you're on mute. I mean, you need to unmute.
मेरे को लगा ही था I will be tagged somehow. I don't know why. ठीक. Just give me 10 seconds. So I'd like to introduce you to. Hello, দরকার নাই. ওই যে. I'd like to introduce you all to Uttam Da. And
Namaste, सबको.
he will be, I mean, he is the main anchor for me and for the program both. And I will be holding space. And so I wanted Uttam Da to share, you know, I think it is both our wish, his and mine, to offer a workshop and to, you know, bring Baul in a, how do I say, in the more essential way to the world. There's a lot of ideas floating about the Bauls, a lot of ways in which they are looked at, but what I have experienced and what Uttam Da has lived over the last 35 years or maybe more has been phenomenally different. So, yes, off to Uttam Da.
হ্যাঁ, সবাইকে নমস্তে, জয়গুরু। আমার বাংলার আদত হচ্ছে সবাইকে জয়গুরু বলা। হ্যালো বলি না আমরা।
Yeah, so he's saying Joy Guru. Joy Guru is, you know, Jai, the how do I translate Jai? So this is one of my intentions also to, you know, form a language in English which I can translate it. Joy Guru means, you know, my কি বলছে?
মানে পরম্পরার জয়, মানে যে
মানে जो he's saying the lineage which is passed on of this wisdom, you know, my respects and my admiration for that.
হ্যাঁ, তো আমাদের যে বাংলা, মানে বাংলাদেশ, গোটা বাংলা, বাংলাদেশ মিন্স মানে অল ওভার বাংলা,
Total.
মানে ত্রিপুরা, ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল, বাংলাদেশ, পার্ট অফ বাংলাদেশ, সেখানে যে বৈষ্ণব এবং বাউল সাধন যে পরম্পরা আছে, সেখানে আমাদের এই সাধন ভজনের কোনো দেশ নেই, এখানে কোনো বাউন্ডারি নেই। এই ফিলোসফি এবং এই প্র্যাকটিস, বাউল জার্নি, বাউল লাইফস্টাইল, এর কোনো দেশ নেই, সীমানা নেই।
So he's saying that Gota Bangla, which means not only West Bengal, but West Bengal, Tripura, Assam, Bangladesh, to name this region. And he says that there is an unbroken idea of wisdom and inner work which is there in the land. And that is what he wants to share.
যা বহুদিন ধরে চলে আসছে, যা যে ধারা, মানে যে দর্শন দীর্ঘকাল ধরে বহু মহাজনের বাণী আমাদের এখানে আছে, এবং যে সম্পর্কে আমি সবাইকে বলতে চাই।
So he's saying that the gurus or the people who worked on this, they call them Mahajan, their bani, their songs and their wisdom is what he wants to share with us.
Beautiful. Harnaman, could you also just talk a little bit about what will happen in the session, and then we'll move on to the next presenter. But this is great, but what are you hoping to do in these 4 sessions? What will we be listening to Uttam Da sing, or what's going to happen in the sessions itself?
It's coming to that. So basically all of Baul wisdom is, you know, it's an oral tradition. It follows a Guru Shishya Parampara, and all of the wisdom is transmitted through songs. And especially in the Baul culture, the songs go into great detail about, you know, each aspect of life, each aspect of sadhana. So over the 4 sessions, we'll be exploring a different set of songs, you know, on the basis of different questions on, okay, what is this Posha Pakhi, which is there in the brochure? What is this bird that resides within me, which is very near and I don't know? Then, you know, what is the idea of a house? What is the idea of cleaning it? the idea of practice, the idea of life, of the Param Tattva, the source, what Bauls call the Bindu. So what is that? And we'll be exploring them by the medium of songs. So we've planned about 3 to 4 songs in each session. We'll see how the pace goes. And then there will be Vyakhya of the songs, the explanation of the song, and then we'll have space for Q&A, because that is how it works. Your curiosity will drive the sessions. So we hope that the songs help land and bring a very how do I say, visceral and embodied sense of it. I know there is a language barrier, but I believe that these songs, they definitely transcend language barriers, and they are, you were like, I want to know what is this, kya hai isme, So that is a very simple intention. We are also exploring. We are also seeing how, how people receive it, how people engage with it, and we want to build it properly. So your participation, curiosity, and feedback is equally critical.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Hori and Utanda. We can't wait to see you both soon. Yeah, in the sessions.
অবশ্যই
Yeah,
অনেক
thank
কথা,
you.
কারণ এই ধারা বহুদিনের, মানে কয়েক যুগ ধরে, কতদিনকার জানি না, কিন্তু এই যে ওরাল ট্রেডিশন এবং কিছু তার ডকুমেন্টস যেগুলো লিখিত আকারে আছে, সে সম্পর্কে আমরা আলোচনা করব। এবং পোষা পাখির তুমি যেটা বললে, যে একটা কথা আজকে বলি, যে যারে সাথে লয়ে লয়ে ফিরি, মানে যে আমার ভেতরে আছেন সবসময়, তারে বা কই চিনতে পারি। এই যে আমাকে জানা, আপনাকে জানা আমার ফুরাবে না, মানে নিজেকে জানতে গিয়ে বাউল পরম্পরা এবং এই সাধক সহজিয়া ফকির সুফিরা যে কথা বলেছেন, যে দর্শনের কথা বলেছেন, আমরা সেটা নিয়ে আলোচনা করব।
বেশ। So very quickly I'll sum up. He's saying that the lines he spoke, he's saying what is with me and within me always. I probably should make some effort to get to know it. So what is that effort, which is talked about in this land often? That is what we are going to explore in the sessions.
Beautiful.
Ish.
Thank you
Jai
so much.
Guru.
Thank you so much. Joy Guru. Okay. Who would you like to tag next? Hori? Yeah.
You.
Me. Oh, give me a break. I'll come to. I will tag Lipsa, and then I'll go towards Lipsa.
Tag.
Yeah.
अच्छा ठीक है, पास हो गया, ठीक है, okay.
Thanks, Naveen. Can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Yeah, most welcome. But it'll be a short PowerPoint presentation, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Just filling it like, 1 minute. You're allowed to share, right? Okay.
Yeah. Can you see it if you can confirm?
Yes.
I will read this quote for us because in the course Psychology of Social Development, that is what we will mostly do for 6 sessions. We are going to look at quotes from Sri Aurobindo's integrative work on the human cycle, the ideal of human unity, and war and self-determination. And 3 of these writings form the discipline, an integrative discipline called the Psychology of Social Development, which combines psychology, sociology, and history into bringing a new perspective of us looking at ourselves, looking at the world, and looking at what the next of the world might be. So I'll just read this quote, the spirit of teaching. But at least there was a glimmering of the realization that each human being is a self-developing soul, and that the business of both parent and teacher is to enable and to help the child to educate himself, to develop his own intellectual, moral, aesthetic, and practical capacities, and to grow freely as an organic being, not to be kneaded and pressured into form like an inert plastic material. It is not yet realized what this soul is, or that the true secret, whether with child or man, is to help him to find his deeper self, the real psychic entity within. That, if we ever give it a chance to come forward, and still more, if we call it into the foreground as the leader of the march set in our front, will itself take up most of the business of education out of our hands and develop the capacity of the psychological being towards a realization of its potentialities, of which our present mechanical view of life and man and external routine methods of dealing with them prevent us from having any experience or forming any conception. The reason why I chose this quote is because so there are three of us offering this course together, Gomati, Rukmini, who is here, and me. And we offer it with this spirit of teaching that it is it is not so much us offering the course as much as it being the text being an enabler for us to find that deep inner being inside of us. And in each of the 6 sessions, we will pick a few quotes. They are 2-hour sessions. We will pick a few quotes from the text of Sri Aurobindo and make sense into what are the quotes really trying to tell us. And the flow of the journey of inquiry is such that we start with understanding civilizational evolution of human beings. How have we come? What have we come through? What has been the ontology and epistemology in those ages, and what is the age we are right now? We will explore the age of reason and the limitations of the age of reason. We will then explore the planes of being and what does a new subjective age really look like. That is what the inquiry is going to be. It is going to be intense and it's going to be early mornings, 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. And we really encourage to also take up the reading of the human cycle as we go through the course. Look forward to this. Rukmini, if you would want to add anything, if I might have missed something very crucial.
Just one more piece, that participants in this course are encouraged to take up a project to work with during the course, which is, and the project could be simply a reading of the human cycle, or it could be, if you are in social development, if there's a live project you're working on, a community context you're working on, to take that up and to apply the learnings from the course and some constructs and frameworks that emerge during the course. The idea is to apply it in your life as you go along, and we'll have one session at the end, which is just about sharing what's happened with your projects.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lipsa and Rukmini. Rukmini, you want to just pick it up from there and also just give us an introduction to yours, what you would be anchoring by yourself, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Rukmini, based in Mumbai, and in terms of my work, my background, I work in partly in peace building and partly in leadership and organization development. I divide my time between those two spaces. And the offering I have here is called Dancing with Decolonization, which has been a personal inquiry for several years now. And my early encounters with the idea of decolonization were, I think, a lot about, it entailed a lot of anger. That's how I remember it. That the idea of being angry about being colonized and so on. So there was a lot of blame and that sort of a narrative involved, which I did not find nourishing. And so the inquiry was, it shifted over time to looking at, is there a possibility of the decolonization process being gentle, being nourishing, not being about blame, but really about a sense of recovery and reconnection. So that's been a personal journey, and so this offering also comes as a gift from that space of inviting you into that personal journey of what the idea of colonization means, and I don't necessarily only mean territorial colonization like the British or the Mughal colonization of India, but looking at the phenomenon of colonization, which has existed for as long as human history has existed. So looking at colonization from that perspective, and looking at it through various lenses, including colonization of culture, colonization of our minds, which continues through our education systems, colonization through digital mechanisms and how technology has become a huge colonizer of our lives and so on. So we're looking at different lenses through which colonization continues to exist and how do we attempt to decolonize ourselves in each of these spaces by bringing in consciousness into these spaces. So that's the inquiry. And so the sessions are 90-minute sessions on Friday evenings, 8:30 to 10 p.m. India time. And they are structured in a way that I have some prompts to offer for the first 15-20 minutes for the most part. Then we go into explorations in breakout rooms, and then we come back and share what's emerging for each of us. And there will be some resources and worksheets provided after each session, which is not meant to be homework, but just as a way for us to anchor our exploration in some form of structure. So that's the intention of the worksheets. So yeah, that's the offering. And okay, shall I pass it on to Shri?
Hi, I'm Sri Lakshmi. I'm joining from Bangalore. Welcome again. This is like the marriage hall, no? Where each one of us are saying, please come. And, we are invited several times in, but that's also how I look at this entire process. That though, yes, I don't look at each of these offering as something isolated in itself, but there is, very much, they're all very linked to one another. And they are different pieces of the same whole. It's just that each one of us are holding one part of it and taking it. And I know some of you are doing multiple courses, or you might just be doing one. But whichever part that you're doing, just know that there is, if we look at the mind or the psyche, it's linking to everything else that is happening. So do connect to this entirety of Aram, whatever you're doing, and know that there is so much that we're all working towards together, learning, unlearning, creating something, co-creating, all of this. So that's what I wanted to say to begin with. And I'm offering an exploration called Exploration of the Indic Feminine. And for me also, this has been a very personal journey of working with who I am as a woman and working largely as a woman in the space of ecology and woman as a leader, because I worked a long number of years in local government. So for me, somehow these didn't feel like separate. The way it went along, whether it was work or in my own life, these threads sort of kept, they kept coming back together. So this is sort of placing what I have experienced as a woman, being in nature and trying to lead myself and having been influenced by the feminine. I'm not just calling it a man or a woman, but a lot of what has nurtured me into who I am today is what I want to share with everyone else who would come into that space. Naveen has already said that, this is not about expertise. And so I'm again clarifying that. I'm not an expert on Indian mythology, but I've grown up, I grew up in a joint family, a very large joint family, where, every evening we heard from the grandfathers and grandmothers as we were growing along, very many narratives. And when I stepped out of that joint family, which belonged to a particular caste and context, but when I went into the field with the kind of work that I chose to do, the same stories had another narrative. Somebody else had experienced it differently. So it was for a while, what is it that I hold as true? Is this true or is that true? And I think with a few gray hair in my head also, it occurs more and more to me that there's no one story. And there's no one way of looking at ourselves. There's no one way of looking at life and being. So this is essentially that. Do we have the space within ourselves to say that there are multiple ways of being, and each one of us are that way very special, and each one of us have a purpose and a space, that we hold, and we often struggle not knowing what that is. So I do hope through this exploration that we are able to anchor ourselves, we're able to appreciate, the narratives that we hold, and some of them are perhaps nourishing us. A lot of them are not doing well to us. So really to say that, what is it that I want to unlearn? And what I've also asked, what is it that you want to share with others as a learning? There are some things that out of experience, we also are wise. Each one of us are wise. So what is the wisdom that we'll pass it on to one another? So this is really for me the session to say that, how do we sit together to know more about ourselves, to the collective that we belong to, and how do I connect as a leader who is guiding oneself, but who also has the responsibility to guide others for a purpose that we are being called for. So that's really where, that this exploration will be, and constantly it would be going in and coming out, going in and coming out, stepping back, stepping out. So that's how it would be. I'm very excited and looking forward to this, very overwhelmed, because I told Naveen that when he said, can you offer something? And I said, this is what I feel like offering, but I'm not sure how many people are really interested in it. But when I saw the number of people who are actually interested, it's very overwhelming and very heartening to say that there are many, many of us in our little corners trying to do something. And thank you, Naveen, for he's like the womb that is connecting all of us now with different umbilical cords that are going in different, very many ways. And he's been nourishing it. So thank you again.
Thank
And
you.
I'm very glad to be with a lot of friends and want to make many more friends.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri
And
Lakshmi.
yeah, my sessions will be on Mondays in the evening between 7 to 8:30. And I'll send out another email with all the confirmations. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Do you want to nominate? I wish we had more time for each of our sharings. I do feel like we've only barely scratched the surface, but that's what the whole 2 months is for a deeper dive with each person. So today is just more like.
Can I ask Priya to go next? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Learning Festival once more. I'm very excited to do this, seeing everybody also. And listening to everybody, it feels like, just as she was saying, it feels like there is some single thread. We are all just picking up different nuances because I'm resonating with what each one is saying. So I feel like, we are all just like there's this elephant and we are looking at it from all these different angles and also trying to get the overview, all that. So that was the image that was coming up for me. Okay, so what I'm anchoring is called self system and the spectrum of being. So we will be looking at layers of the self. What does it mean when I say I, and what does it mean when I'm relating to myself as I am this name, this body, and I am so and so roles, and then I identify as a citizen or as a human being. What does it mean? What does this I mean at different levels? A spoiler alert is that I think what also I'm I am trying, and this is where I come from, this is what my personal experience has been, is that I is very, very relational, and it can define itself by the moment continuously and keep shape shifting. This is something that has been my personal experience. I'm a yoga therapist and an energy healing practitioner, work with Reiki, energy healing, a therapist in the Krishnamacharya tradition. So I will be bringing in the sessions a breath body work through asana and pranayama, light movement. It is something that everybody can do. That is how this is going to be. So it will not be any advanced sort of, we're not going to try to twist ourselves into pretzels or anything. So you don't have to worry about that. Basically, really to look at the body, look at how we embody each of these experiences in the body, but we half the time are not in touch with it. So what does that mean to embody these relationships in the body, and how do they come up here? And then how can we work with that? It's sort of a glimpse into this. So during the sessions, you will be having some assignments that we will have before the session, so that when we come into the session, there is a certain exploration that each of us has had with ourselves, and then we will be bringing it into the session. There will be there will be one couple of movies to watch. There will definitely be some physical activity that you will be doing. There will be some relational aspect with others, something like that. While none of this is mandatory, but you will get the value from doing all of these assignments to whatever level and come. So because it will be experiential in that sense, because it is all about embodying this and seeing what does it mean really for me. And hence to make those choices. Because this is the last time I'm wrapping up with this. What I see in my therapy work, in the healing sessions with people, is how much pain we hold in the body and through all of our conditions, not knowing how is it that I'm relating to all of this? How is it that I'm relating to the world? How is it that I'm relating to my daughter, sister, husband, friend, colleague, and how are these clashing? And so to really bring that into to bring those relational aspects and see how we are holding them is how I think I'm looking at these sessions. We will be using a framework called the Panchakosha Vidya from the Taittiriya Upanishad. That is the traditional sort of structure that we will be having. But we'll really take off from there into ourselves. That is the sort of a framework or a structure that we are holding. But we'll really, I think, explore ourselves through that, so it can take us anywhere. Yeah. Thank you. Deven, no? Deven is left? Yes.
Deven, Ashish, Shankar, and me.
Shankar. Oh, okay.
Just a request to people coming, speaking. We'll try and keep it to about 2.5 minutes, if that's okay. Yeah, cool.
Thank you, Naveen and everyone for co-creating this space. I think this was, the object that I had got, like a card that I had received with, multiple hearts. And I think this whole intention of coming together in a space of learning, sharing from the heart is really alive. The topic that I'm anchoring is yogic relationship with money and wealth. Over the last 8 years, I've been living in Oroville and have dived deeper into what Sri Aurobindo and Mother have said on money, wealth, economy, and that has really opened up a very, very wide way of looking at it. With like a whole spectrum, not right or wrong, not good or bad, but from a very wide lens. And a bit about my journey. I started, and I'm born about in Mumbai, born in a Gujarati family. So engaging with money business in some sense came naturally initially. And I think in my late teens and early 20s, I was into finance and tech. And part of my work was also about investing and helping people do that. And parallelly, there was also a yogic and a spiritual journey that was happening. And what I realized is that one needs to have that balance. So I moved from that tech world, business world, to the nonprofit world, And throughout this journey, what I found is that there are no black and white or right or wrong answers. One, uh, from a systemic lens, the way our economic systems are structured, the way our money system is designed, yes, it is rooted in scarcity. It is rooted in competition. So if we want to live a life that allows us to realize our highest potential from the spiritual perspective, from different perspectives, we need to have a healthy relationship with money. So what I would cover in these sessions is kind of share some insights, some principles that I've learned along the way through conversations with many people who are balancing their relationship, with money. And then there'll be reflection questions. There'll be some frameworks which will allow each participant to see, okay, how does this apply in my own life? And yeah, so it will be fairly interactive. And intention is to look at the whole spectrum, look at broad principles, and see how you can have a healthy relationship where you balance, relationship with money, different forms of wealth. So yeah, that's the intention. Thank you. I'll tag Shankar.
Hi there, thanks. Hi everyone, I'm Shankar Devi, and I'll be taking a session on Dharma in the age of AI. And my biggest fear is that by the time I take this session, the technology world would have changed. So whatever I have prepared would be obsolete. So AI is like getting integrated into our everyday life. We saw Navin reacting to the AI note taker to the Zoom. So it's been integrated with our consent, without our consent. For example, on WhatsApp, you see the search is now the AI. We didn't ask for it, but the search got automatically upgraded to, or what is the right word? Upgraded might not be the right one, but it got AI capabilities now. And as a technology, as someone who has been working in the technology field for about 20 years now, I'm seeing in the last couple of years, the advancement in the AI and the invasion of AI into our human space is so huge. And in many cases, like I'm using AI regularly for many of my day-to-day work. And I see many people having concerns about it. I myself have a lot of concerns about it, but still I can't fully stop using it. And in the US and in the Europe, I have seen a lot of discussions happening around the ethics of AI, what it confers, what it takes away from us. But at least in my limited circle of sharing, I haven't seen the same the level of discussions in the Indian context. What are the ethical concerns of AI? And what I'm hoping in these 4 sessions is to first give a very basic introduction to AI, like basically try hands-on, what does AI do? So we will go through a couple of examples. I'll be sharing my screen and probably showing some demos of it. And then we will look at what are the different organizations around the world that are working in the space of ethics in the AI space. Couple of things like an US-based organization, Center for Human Tech, is working largely on it. European Parliament has passed an AI Act. And these are things that I am aware of through my work. And there are these are two organizations that I can cite immediately, but there are so many organizations that are working in the field of ethics in the age of AI. And to cite, for example, I think it was Rukmani who was sharing the dancing with decolonization, right? When it comes to AI, imagine all the technology coming from the West. Like I heard someone talking. Imagine all the engineers, or imagine people from California entering your room, entering your office, entering your bank, entering every space that you live in today, and then they take up the way you think, the way you act, and that's a new kind of colonization that is not seen, not visibly seen, but still happening all the time. So it's going to be a complex topic. There are pluses obviously, but there are many minuses. So it's going to be a journey. I'm not an expert in this field. I've been also learning and trying to make sense of AI for my own work. So this is going to be a sharing session from my side, as if I'm sharing with my friend, my brothers, sisters. So that's what I'm hoping to do in this 4 sessions.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. Shankar is underplaying his technical expertise on this topic, but he's highly accomplished in the subject. So yeah, thank you, Shankar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Navin.
I'll go after Ashish Bhai. Yeah, Ashish Bhai. So over to you.
Thank you, Naveen Bhai. Hi everyone. I am Ashish. I basically live in Bir. It's in Himachal Pradesh, up in the Himalayas, and that's why I'm very cold right now, and I'm wearing my jacket. So the offering that I'm going to anchor is about exploring early stage social leadership with the Vriksh Fellows. The Vriksh initiative, I'll talk a little bit about that first, and then I'll go into this offering. So the Vriksh initiative is basically an incubation platform for early stage social leaders across India. Young people who have basically chosen to let go of their jobs and work with the communities in non-profit mode for different sectors, like say for education, sustainability, climate change, regenerative farming, women empowerment, livelihood, etc. So through the fellowship that we provide, what we do is like we support these early stage social leaders for their personal living expenses, so that they don't have to worry about their living costs while they are trying to formulate their model and trying to figure out a way to start their organizations. And at the same time, we also provide them capacity building opportunities so that they can learn how they can basically hone their leadership skills and also uh, develop capacities for starting organizations or building teams or refining their model for different communities. So that's about the initiative. What we are going to do in this offering is we are going to basically host one Vriksh fellow at a time. We'll have 5 total sessions. So a total of 6 fellows. In one session, we'll have 2 fellows joining us together. And we are going to have an interview style conversation with them to know more about their work, their journeys, the challenges that they are facing, and like what inspires them, and what kind of dreams they have for the future. The structure we are going to have is like 20 to 30 minutes of a conversation between me and the Vriksh fellow. And then after 30 minutes, we'll open it up for everybody to ask questions and have open discussion. One session is going to be 60 minutes long with 15 minutes of extra time for people who want to dive deeper and who want to ask like one-on-one questions from the fellows. So yeah, that's about it. And we start on January 17th, which is a Friday, and then we take 2 weeks break, and then after that we start on February 7th, and then we do it alternatively until March 21st. Timing is 6 to 7 p.m. in the evening. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ashish Bhai. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Just very briefly talking about what I'll be offering as well. I'm calling it Swaraj and Sarvodaya. but it really is an exploration of just before I come to that, I just need to state that I personally feel that we are, as a species, at the edge of extinction. Yeah, I won't go into arguing my case right now, but if you come to the sessions, we can talk about it there. But God forbid somebody loses their mind and presses a button, starts off a nuclear war. We're really at the edge. But that's not the only thing. It's not just nuclear. The meta crisis is a real fact of our life, according to me. And the big claim I'm making is that if we are, as a species, need to find a way forward, the big claim I'm making is we need to learn from 4 very special beings that this land has offered us as a gift to humanity in the last 100 years. And these 4 are, to me, Gandhiji, Sri Aurobindo, Jiddu Krishnamurti, and Ramana Maharishi. And there's a reason why I've named these 4 amongst many, many. And I feel each of them have brought something absolutely unique to the collective human heritage, that is very unique. And for humanity to find a way forward, I feel we need to engage with all 4 sincerely and rigorously. And in a sense, the alchemy of these 4 beings of light, in a sense, is perhaps what will give us a way forward. So that's the claim I'm making. I'm not an expert in the work of any or the teachings of any 4 of them, but I've spent about 20 odd years now studying them in my own ways. So in the sessions, I will both talk about why I find each of them important and share a little bit of my own story or my engagement with them. And that will be for half the time. Hopefully my monologue will be for half the time, not 45 minutes in a row, but half the time. And then we'll have conversations for the remaining half the time, So that's the format I'm looking at, more around sharing my views and my story, and then having an interaction. But eventually where I'm intending to, what I want to underline is the importance of these 4 and what they bring to our future, if not our present. So I hope that's brief enough. It will be fairly rigorous. It's quite unlike anything else I've done. Usually I say it's not very rigorous, but this time there will be work to do. There'll be films to watch. There'll be things to read. There'll be reflections for everybody to write, not just those who miss sessions, but everybody to write. So it will demand a lot. So if somebody is really interested in sort of adding more to their workload, then you're most welcome. And it'll be on Sunday mornings, 7:30 a.m. But the dates are very disjointed. So those who write to me or I've already seen the brochure, I'll share the dates with you. Yeah. So that's, in a sense, the introductions of the offerings. I'm sure there are a lot of questions. You can contact them or contact us individually or through the Aram email ID, aram@auroville.org in, for any particular queries you might have around the offerings. We'll have a little bit of Q&A time towards the end of this call too. Yeah. So I also want to talk briefly around the logistics of what is to be expected. And then we will open the floor up for sharings and questions from others. So a lot of what we've shared so far are individual offerings. And all of us are signing up for various offerings, and then we'll be involved. But we also want to highlight certain community level events that will happen. While all of us are signing up for individual programs, we're also a large community, potentially about 80 to 100 people. Only about 40 odd people are here, but there are many more who have signed up, So we potentially be a community of 100 people, and there will be community level events also we will be organizing. A couple of events we're thinking of is over the next 2 months, have 2 community level calls like these, where hopefully we will do less of the talking and others will do more of the talking, where we'll share questions, insights, what's working, what's not working, but some kind of a gathering around the fire, an informal huddle around the fire kind of thing, a couple of times in the next 2 months. The dates we will share soon. And a couple of times maybe have film screenings, like more like community level film screenings. We're figuring out the modalities of it, but so that's also sort of in the pipeline. Hopefully we'll have a concert or two. I'm going to talk to some musician friends. Some of them are here, and see if we can have a couple of concerts over the next 2 weeks. Then, I know Uttamda is already here. Girija is here. She sings. The other friends. So can we have a couple of concerts? And all these are, of course, optional. But the idea is, can we create a Mela-like feel, where, at different corners, there's a film happening, there's a concert happening, there's a talk happening, all sort of stuff, So we're thinking of these 2 community level events and hopefully a concert too. So 3. We'll have a couple of friends, Krishan and Tanisha. I hope Tanisha is still here. Krishan, I thought I saw you. If you can say hello. Yeah, Krishan, unmute and just say hello. And maybe after I finish, introduce yourself. Krishan and Tanisha will support with they're like fellow community managers. So the 3 of us are going to try and support with whatever logistics help is needed. Not just logistics help, we try and kind of hopefully keep the common spaces meaningful and alive. So that's the mandate for the 3 of us, is how do we keep the Mela atmosphere going? Yeah, so Tanisha was here till recently. She seems to have, I can't see her. Hopefully a connection will come back. Krishan, do you want to just briefly introduce yourself, and then I'll take it further from there. Yeah.
Thank you, Naveen. It's beautiful to see actually a lot of familiar faces and new faces as well. So I'm working with Naveen. I'm currently living in Auroville only. And the platform, the digital platform which Naveen mentioned, that is something that I'm taking care of. If there's anything that any of you struggle with or need help with, you can contact me. And I'll be happy to share.
Okay. Krishna hasn't shared much about his own journey, but hopefully we'll get a chance to get to know each other a lot more over the next 2 months. Along with Krishna and Tanisha, we're going to try and make the collective space more and more hopefully meaningful. And if some of you would like to support with that, you're most welcome. Yeah. We're going to have an online sort of platform to support us with this whole learning festival. It's a part of the Aram portal. So we will be sending out invitations to be a part of that learning platform tomorrow morning. And it will hardly take you 2 minutes to sign up. So we invite all of you to sign up onto that. And a lot of our common events will happen there, the concerts, the films, all of that will happen on the common platform, including the courses and stuff, it's hosted on this thing called Mighty Networks. Some of you might be familiar with this, but I highly, strongly recommend getting on board. And the invitation is also to kind of really share. It's a platform that sort of enables a lot of sharing, according to me. And so really try and use the opportunity to get to know each other and share your own views and any gifts you have in terms of learnings and whatnot. Towards this, we're also going to have one kind of exercise or an activity of a kind that's called the participant of the day. So we're going to highlight one participant every day. So Krishan will get in touch with you about it. And what we're going to invite you is to share a little bit about yourself, and also maybe one gift you want to share with the community. It could be a song or a poem or a video, a website, anything that's inspired you and that you want to share with others. So we'll kind of highlight that on the portal. So there'll be something to learn every day from each other. So we'll sort of spotlight one person in the community, and all of us are participants in that sense. So we'll spotlight one person a day, and Krishan will be like the main steward of this process. So kindly do cooperate with him. He will ask you to fill up yet another Google form in your life, but if you don't mind, it'll take you very brief time. But it'll be a gift that we can offer the rest of the community. Yeah. So that's largely that. And one last thing is, some of you have signed up for all 10, and that's inspiring. But please do make sure that you're able to really do justice to all the 10. It's great to see so much interest, but we have overshot our numbers in nearly every offering. Yeah, so we might have to say no to some people. We'll try to keep that as low as possible, but in some places we might have to say no to some people, to some courses, not entirely. Yeah, so some of you, if you feel like you might not have the bandwidth to be a part of some of the courses you signed up for, kindly make that choice right up front, so that those seats are not wasted for somebody else. You know what I mean? If you can do justice to it, great. Please, if you can be a part of something and really be fully involved, you're most welcome to. But if you feel like this is not something that I might be able to do full justice to, then it's better to leave that seat empty for somebody else to take. So that's a request. And thank you again, and looking forward to the next 2 months. Yeah, that's largely the logistics from my end. The circle is open for any questions, any queries, any concerns that you might want to share. So. Yes, Girija?
I just wanted to clarify that musical presencing is not music therapy. It's not the same. Right? Music therapy is more nuanced. It's directed and conducted in a very different way. This is not music therapy. I'm not going to look into solutions for any specific issues. This is more about re-looking at yourself as an identity. That's what presencing is about. Just to clarify that. Thank you.
Any other queries, questions, sharings, concerns?
Not exactly a question, but now that I've heard so many of the facilitators, to be frank, I don't remember for what I signed up, and I didn't know that one can sign up for so many modules. So I was just going to write up and then check if it is possible for me to sign up for more than one. So the timings that you had given, some of you gave the timings, so I was just quickly making note of it. So I'm assuming that you will send us something where we can refresh and then look at it.
Yes. Yes. Chitra, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Chitra, if you go back to the sign up form, there is a table there with all the everything listed, but we will be putting out a more easier to understand form of it too soon. Yeah, you can sign up for all 10 if you like,
Okay.
as long as you can do justice to your participants.
Not all 10 for sure, but yeah,
Okay,
a couple of them. Yeah, though all are very inviting.
Just that, like we said, many of them are running into wait lists.
Sure.
So we might not be able to have everybody sign up for everything.
I understand.
So some people might, unfortunately, we might have to say no for some of the sessions. Yeah. So.
And I'm also quite new to use of technology in some ways, not entirely. So I was asked to join the community. I linked it, but I don't know if I had joined. So in queries like that, is Krishnan or you the right person to write
Yeah,
to?
I would be me or Krishnan. So that's aram.orwell@orwell.org.in. I'll put that down on the chat.
Yeah.
You can write to me. Or the emails you've been getting from
Yes.
aram.orwell@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Just mail there and we'll respond. Yeah. Super. Thank you.
Thanks to all the facilitators. It was really very exciting to hear all the offerings that you're sharing. And thanks for saying that it is half cooked and you're all going to, work for that. It was very inspiring. Yeah.
Namaste, Naveen.
Hello. I wonder who's speaking.
Yeah, I'm Juby.
Oh, yes, Juby. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So actually, I signed up for a course in which the registration was shown closed. But it got selected. I don't know, means I could go through the process.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was interested for it, so I just clicked it. It happened. So I
We
really
heard
don't
you.
know.
We deeply heard you beyond your stated intentions. So in some cases, the facilitators are able to make extra space. In that case, we
Yeah.
manage. In some cases, we might not be able to, and in that case, we'll have to regret, like regretfully. So yeah, this was one case where we managed to Jubi. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So just to add, Naveen, because a couple of people who have registered for musical presencing are saying they haven't received the email from me. So everyone who has registered for musical presencing, and there is a request email based, of course, some came into the wait list and we have not been able to include everyone because of just the count. But please check your email. There is a request for confirmation. Even if you have registered, you need to just confirm that you're participating. You would have received the email from me. So in case you don't have it in your inbox, please check your spam folder. It should be there somewhere because a couple of you have asked me this question. So just clarifying for the larger crowd that you would have got an email asking you to confirm registrations.
Just to add to that, I think in our last time's pilot initiative, I think same thing happened because I sent everybody in BCC. It ended up in spam folder for many people. So yeah, so I don't know whether if there's a way for us to use a MailChimp kind of a thing and have centralized confirmation being sent, or I don't know whether it's too late for that, but this could happen that when you put like bulk of email in BCC, because perhaps you don't want to put everyone on CC, then it might end up in spam folder.
Okay, this is a good flag to raise. Well, folks, if you think you signed up for a session and if you haven't heard from that facilitator, please get back right away. First, please check your spam folders. And if you don't find any mails there, please get in touch with me. Then I will see. Obviously, we'll resend it or we'll link that up. And some of the spam stuff can be avoided by getting onto the platform. By getting onto the learning platform, communication is much more simple and far more faster there. So, for multiple reasons, we strongly recommend signing up onto the Learning Festival platform. Yeah. But yes, if you've signed up for a course and if you haven't heard from that facilitator, please get back to us ASAP. So, yes, Suhani.
Hi, Naveen. May I know, is there any link shared for the program Psychology of Self-Development?
I doubt it if an email has gone out on that yet.
Yeah.
Has it gone out yet?
It hasn't yet.
So in the next day or two, hopefully, Suhani, you will receive a communication from them.
Sure.
If you haven't heard from them, then please get back to us.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else before we wrap up? Okay. Thank you then, everybody. And eagerly looking forward to both the small groups that will meet as individual offerings, and hopefully also as a larger community, we can get to meet again at least a couple of times before we close for various events, concerts, general sharings, film screenings and whatnot. So hopefully the Mela will be a lot of fun and of course meaningfully, like a meaningful experience for all of us. So thank you again, and a big thanks, and looking forward. Yeah. So Pongal and Sankranti wishes to everybody, and see you all very soon. Yeah. Thank you. We start on the 14th evening with Girija's session. So see you all very soon, and thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.